because oftentimes I'll let you mount, thinking that you're going to mount, but in reality, I'll turn that into a half guard with an underhook and you're going to the bottom, and you're not mounting me. However, sometimes you get the mount, but you know, you work out of it. Mount is not exactly the easiest position to control. So one way that I like to control the side, because this is side control and this is highly intricate jiu-jitsu, because I'm on the side and I'm controlling him. The control means that I want to keep him flat. The reason why he frames is because he needs to begin to create lateral movement as he moves his hip and shoulder, so he can turn on his side. Turn on your side slow. Yes, side, more side, hip, shoulder, push, frame. So he can move laterally like this. This is exactly the most comfortable thing here, okay? For me to be able to control him, I need to begin to redirect his frames to push up. So if he's pushing me up, he's pushing himself down. That's great for me, okay? He needs to be able to get me into this position as soon as the hip out. The hip, my shoulders, go.
I'm trying, man. My ribs.
Oh, you're right. Okay, go ahead. Go. Hip and okay, I'm over here. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to keep him flat, because if he's framing me here, he's framing himself down here. If he's trying to move away, I want to begin to at least get him even facing away just a little bit here. If you notice, I'm not on my knees because I can always have my hands off the mat and all the pressure's on him. Okay. So you want to also wear out your, okay? You want to wear out, did you tweak a rib again?
Yeah, still tweak.
Same one? Rib injuries are
horrible.
Okay, here, let me,
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't know. So you have to be ready. Also, you want to be more so dynamic here. Chest to chest is not good enough, because if he frames my head and frames my hip, he can easily push me off him as he pushes away. It's like really no weight on him, okay? So what I want to do is I want to put, primary pressure should be more so your belly and your stomach, so I can get my hands off the mat. So now when he begins to frame, okay, go ahead, and he starts moving, I can begin to move with him, and I anticipate the movement. So for every movement he makes, I make a negative movement. So he moves +1, go ahead, and then I move -1 just to counter him, and then I move just enough. I don't want to be doing too much here, because the point on top here is to restrict movement. It's not to create movement. I don't want to be all like this, because it gives him plenty of openings, and it's a lot harder for me to anticipate. I need to restrict his movement and ensure that his movement is so limited I can predict it. When we're here, I'm controlling his far hip with my elbow. You see it's not on the mat. I don't want to be here. And my right hip is in his right hip. And I compress his hip, far hip, with my hip here, okay? I can control his head. I can take it offline. I can lift it up, okay? But I watch his frames, okay? So as he's making his frames, go ahead, okay? I know that his frames are intended in order to push against me and away. See, I see that foot. He's gonna move his hip out this way, go ahead. See it? And then he, frames, hip, shoulder, move his shoulder, shoulder, yes, and hip. Move the hip, yes. See, and now he's already recovering side. Okay. For me to be able to control him, I need to keep him flat, okay? So I guess the first thing that we're gonna do is just control your partner flat. This side control right here is dynamic, because what I'm doing here, if you notice, okay, I have my feet and I'm creating lateral pressure, moving sideways, okay? I can only be so heavy on top with gravity. So whenever he moves, go ahead, I can begin to now move with him using my feet and still controlling his hips. Because side control is going to be typically head control, but if I control too much head of his, I can't control his hips. If I control too much hips, I don't control his head. So there's this balance that you have to go between the two. That's why I like to pin the hip here, and my right hip is pinning his near hip, okay, his right hip. This is the left, okay? And my hands are off the mat. I still have a side underhook here, because I don't want to give up underhooks also, okay? Because this is his underhook arm. So here, and I can control his head. I can pull it here. I could take it offline, because if it's here, it's hard for him to move. Go ahead and move. Yeah, so now he's going to readjust his hips, but I know he's going to move his hip out that way. or he's gonna actually move his hip to his right, to realign it with his head. Move your hip to the right. Yes, there it goes, right there. Now I know that, so I can now begin to anticipate him wanting to move his hips to the right and create pressure this way here. And now I have a good control of him. Notice the whole time he's flat. I cannot let him get sideways here, because now he can frame against me. Yeah, if he gets underhook, I don't want that. I don't want him to frame against me, because now look how easily he can move his hip. Move your hip, hip, shoulder, and then hip, shoulder. And then he can bring his knees in and so forth. Okay, so you gotta keep them flat. So this is gonna be your first exercise. Okay, so when he turns into me, I wanna keep him flat right here, okay? And I'm tilting my right hip just enough. I don't wanna be like this, that's too much. This is too flat. I'm at an angle because my feet now can help keep me pressing him to his back. And your partner's just gonna kind of move and try to get to their side. I can always, if I feel him, if I feel his feet coming in right here, I can always begin to switch my hips and roll the other way. And I roll the hips on his face. You can roll back here. Okay? Here goes. Go ahead. And keep him flat. Keep him flat. Yeah, don't let him bring that knee, because if he brings that knee in, go ahead. Okay, this is a problem for me, because it turns into more of a half guard. So I do not want to get my leg stuck in the half guard. I don't want to let him turn to the side, meaning that I want to keep my leg out of half guard, and I want to keep him flat, or not letting him turn to the side. So everybody's going to start on your partner's right side. You're going to have belly and controlling the head, not at the neck. That's the strongest part. The weakest part, right about here. Look where that thing is. Where the yarmulke will go. And then you're here and here. Okay. So now, and your feet, toes are alive. So as now he starts to try to turn sideways, I'm going to push him, roll him flat. If anything, I want to roll him. I'm going to weigh a little bit, but not too much, because I don't want him to now push me in my armpit and roll me over either. That's no good either. So there's got to be a balance. In jiu-jitsu, you got to do just enough. If you do too much, it's consequential. If you do not enough, it's detrimental. Right? Same thing. So I'm not a psychiatrist. Here. Elbow here, here, and he starts moving. I'm gonna keep him flat, because I want to make him work harder while I work smarter. Okay? He's moving. And see how much distance we covered. Go ahead. Keep moving. Okay? And I'm still moving here. And even here. And then you're able to go to angle, no stop. Okay, so we're gonna start there. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Marlon. You work smarter. They work harder.